The Twin Valley Locker Room Show takes you inside Lady Tiger basketball. Twin Valley Locker Room is powered by Pulse Internet. All your devices, one superior connection. We're joined by Syd Callaway, Hannah Ferguson, Addy Mullin. Three of the Lady Tigers getting set to go back to the state championships. Well, for one, a first trip to Emporia, but we welcome Hannah into the defense of a state title in 4A Division II. I'm going to start over here with Syd, and let's talk about the game against Concordia. What a basketball game, first off. At any point, were you nervous in that basketball game?
Probably the third quarter when we were down, kind of started panicking, but then we calmed down and finally put it all together and finished it.
So, Hannah, you know all about the gym in Concordia. You spent some time there as a wee one, right? Now as a big basketball player for the Lady Tigers. What was it like to kind of get things going? You pick up your fourth foul, and I thought there were two really pivotal plays. You made a steal on our defensive end that started a fast break, and then you finished a bucket down inside. And I held an anxious breath when you poked that basketball away. Were you nervous at that point at all?
I was a little nervous, but honestly, when I got the steal, wasn't aware of my fouls. I kind of just went for it, which could have been bad, but it turned out all right. So
it turned out terrific, in fact. Addy, we talked defense. I've talked about you on defense a lot this season, and particularly the last 3 or 4 ball games. And in the sub-state championship, I mean, if I'm a guy on the basketball floor, I don't want you guarding me. Do you enjoy playing defense?
Yeah, I love defense. I always think, regardless of what's going on offense, you can always work your butt off on defense. So.
And she does just that. In fact, across the board, these gals out here working, they play defense as good as anybody I've seen in a long time. Addy, I'll start back down here. Okay, you guys got to 30 seconds left, and you kind of had a feeling it was going to happen. Wasn't over. When did you yourself think we've got this done? Was it when zeros came on the clock, or did you have a little time to enjoy it?
It was under a minute, and we were shooting free throws. And I knew we still had to stay locked in, but it started to set in. It felt good, relieving.
Getting to Emporia, Hannah, these girls know what it's all about. I assume there'll be a stop at a park somewhere on the way down. Do you know the tradition of the play in the park?
I know a little bit. They're gonna fill me in later, but I know a little bit of it.
So have you been to White Auditorium before?
No.
It's a great facility, and it's our home away from home now. So enjoy it. It's our den in Emporia. So I think you're going to have a good time there. Syd, getting back to state, I know it was a goal. Talk about the 2 losses toward the end of the season. Kind of how that maybe, I don't know if it changed your mindset, if it had any effect on your attitude, but what was the feeling of the team and you personally?
I thought it hurt a lot because we were on a roll, but I think it brought us closer together and made us realize that we were kind of getting complacent and we had to step it up, and we showed that at sub-state.
So what is the goal going into the state tournament? And I know to win 3 and defend your title, but what are the things you guys have talked about? We do this on Tuesday when we record this, and you're going to be playing on Thursday. What have you talked about since coming out of Saturday's game?
Just we need to work hard in practice and win the first round, and then from there it's taking every little step to the state championship.
Feelings on playing the early 3 o'clock game on Thursday. Is it good for you to just get it out of the way and go, or would you rather wait around and see some other teams play?
No, I like to just play and get the win and get it over with, so we have momentum going into the next day. We know what we're dealing with, so I like to play early. But
Addy, as you go back into Emporia and you guys have a feel for what it's like to be there, you know your way around the gym, and it may sound kind of goofy, but to be honest, it should help your attitude. What will it be like going back in and everybody knowing here come the defending champion?
I think it'll feel good, but we got to keep in mind that puts an even bigger target on our back. So although we're more comfortable, we just have to be ready for whatever's thrown at us.
Great answers. Okay, Tiger Talk is here as we go to the state tournament. With the road trip to Emporia, which Lady Tiger is the best joke or storyteller on the bus? You can say yourself if that's the case.
I'd probably have to go with Allie. She's always making us laugh.
So Allie would be the best joke teller or storyteller, you agree?
yeah.
I agree with that.
Okay, unanimous. On the bus, pregame, practice, which Lady Tiger will you say is going to be the DJ, control what music's played?
Allie always plays the music before the game, or Addy sometimes does. So between those two.
So Allie again, right? Okay.
Yep, Allie again.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to take that control over next year? It sounds like you're stepping in.
Yeah, I kind of have a little playlist made, so I'm ready for it.
It's good to plan ahead. All right, name one superstition or habit that you must do before every game or on every game day. Hannah, we'll start with you.
I like to eat the same things before, and I always wear the same socks and everything that I wore for every game.
So I guess I've got to ask this question. Can you talk her into eating Mr. Goodsense before the game in Emporia?
Yeah.
That's part of the tradition you're going to learn about, okay? Addy, a superstition habit you have?
I really don't. I don't have a certain thing that I do every game, but
Just go do it, right? All right, Syd?
I usually get dressed the same way every game, wear the same socks and stuff.
Perfect. Now, I got to ask real quickly, I don't have the nickname for Hannah yet, but I'm doing some exploring on that to see if there's any research I can do. Do you know what a sidewalk surfer is?
Yeah, skateboarder.
Yeah. You okay with that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have any idea who the Tasmanian Devil is?
Yeah, I heard that was my nickname.
Could be shortened to Taz before it's all said and done, so keep up that kind of work. Keep it rolling. You keep doing that post work inside because it's a lot of fun to watch these girls play. The Lady Tigers heading to the 4A Division II state championships to defend their title in Emporia. Twin Valley Locker Room Show brings you back inside Clay Center Lady Tiger basketball and joined by the head coach, Jeff Edwards, coming off of a sub-state championship coach that there were anxious moments, to state the obvious and to understate what that game was against Concordia. I guess speak first off to what the Lady Panther basketball program really has done. You know, you beat them pretty soundly in the opening game. They got you in the second matchup, and then it was anybody's game on Saturday.
When we played them the first game, they had a couple of girls that hardly played at the end of the season because they got Jordan Eschball back. Anytime you get 6 foot tall, even if you're on 1.5 legs, she has a basketball knowledge, kind of like Caitlin Bonenbless from last year, just understands the court, understands what we're trying to do, and can take stuff away. So once she got healthy enough, their complexion changed a lot, and then they started playing defense. They went from having the worst defensive average to a pretty tough defense the last 2 times that we played them. So it was a totally different team, and they utilized their bigs much better than they did the first time. And Bergman does a great job. They had shooters to go with that, and then any time in the middle, they had 6'2", 6 foot, and 5'10" of pretty big girls. So that can be tough to score on.
Yeah, they are worthy of the number 3 ranking, and that's why I wanted to ask you kind of about how they progressed this season. But it also says a lot about your team to be down going to the fourth quarter in their house, that gym we talked about that is so loud, and their crowd was into it, our crowd was into it. I mean, it was a great sub-state championship game. And I talked with you briefly by text following the game, and you said, a little nervous they're late, but the girls were amazing, and they did just step up, set their jaw, go get it done.
I think that with that, I mean, they're tremendously tough girls. I mean, they whether it's in practice when we're doing a UCLA competitive drill, they don't want to lose it all. But that being said, I think there was a bit of a weight that was on our back from previous years of, oh my gosh, we better do this. And, I think that it took us a little while to break the ice, and still, even with a good fourth quarter, we still only shot 25% in the game. So, I think it says a lot about the girls. Going down 5 there with that and 1 at the beginning possession of the fourth quarter, and from that point on, they owned the fourth quarter with 17 points, and I think somebody came up and told me neither Eschball touched a ball in the last, or in 8 consecutive possessions as we were trying to make our way through. So, that was obviously, we knew we had to take them away. Bergman still got a few of her points down the stretch, but, that's what a tremendous athlete will do. So,
and I will say they were trying to get it to Jordan and Micah Eschball. It wasn't as if they forgot about him. The Lady Tigers really did a great job defensively. I mentioned to Hannah when we were talking with Syd and Addy and Hannah, and I said there was I thought a really pivotal part of the fourth quarter when she poked away a steal about our free throw line defensively, led to a fast break bucket, then she came down and scored in the post. She did that with 4 fouls. And she kind of had a smirk on her face and said she wasn't really aware she had 4. She may not have made that play.
Well, I think that she would I thought that she would figure out that we were subbing in and out like every possession with Haley for defense because of the 4 fouls. But, what I noticed is that when it got crunch time, we got further out in the passing lanes. We buckled down. We did not get backdoor. We owned the rebounds. All the little things that we said we were going to have to do, we did. And that was the result. That was the difference in the game there. That and our pressure leading him to want to press us. And we're not typically a team you want to press because we've got good girls and a good press break. So when he pressed us, I was feeling pretty good.
I'm going to give you a question. I think it's a little odd to state it because you're going to the state championships. Addy mentioned you got a target on your back. I mean, you're the defending champions. But is there a bit of relief now that you're there? It was such a tough sub-state, and after the loss to Concordia, you had the 2 losses to close the regular season, such a tight game on Saturday. You kind of have a chance to take a breath before you got back after this week anyway?
Yeah, and I think that, just watching us in practice, we're more relaxed. I watch the kids shoot. We've been focusing on us, knowing that we've got to make better than 25% and better than 45% free throws, which is what we've been doing. So that's been our focus. I think that we're more relaxed. We're definitely not totally relaxed because we know we've got a tough opponent that was at 4A Division I state last year with almost the exact same team, only lost to the state champions by 19, returns almost the entire team. So we are still focused with that, but I think we did definitely breathe a sigh of relief after the sub-state game.
And you go back to where you're familiar. I mean, it sounds odd, but you had you win the state championship. Obviously, it's a good experience, but I just felt there was a good vibe about everything about Emporia with the way you guys interacted with the host and with the gym, and you know your way around now going back. This team you take on in the opening round to try to get to the final 2 days of the season, the way I understand it, your style of play will be maybe a battle of wills. If you can get the defensive turnovers and transition going, it could really weigh in for your type of game.
You may see a little different look from us. We may try to get points earlier in the possession. I'm typically a pass 8 to 10 times, find the best shot, get it around the bucket. But this team has 5'10", probably close to 200 pounds, 5'11", 170 with a girl that was formerly from Abilene. And then they also have a guard that's 5'8" and probably 185 pounds. So there is some girls in there that are going to own the middle. And there's a connection to Abilene. So I have a feeling that they're going to have Abilene scouting report. So we saw what Abilene did and packed it in tight, and we're kind of anticipating that. But I feel like we can run a little bit more on them than we have in the past. And I feel that our defense, after watching all their scout films, they haven't seen a defense like what we're going to bring. So that's our 2 main focuses for the week. Score a few more points and play some in-your-face style defense.
I know Coach is wanting to get back and get these girls working toward Thursday, so we'll go to Tiger Talk now, Coach. With the road trip to Emporia coming up, which Lady Tiger, coach or player, would you say is the best joke teller or storyteller on the bus?
I got to go with Allie Wright. She's always doing something that is usually a joke. Maybe not a ha-ha joke, but like the last time we had a meal here, her and Sid were joking around with a water bottle, and me being a coach, I just tipped under the water bottle and splashed a little water on her. And she ended up dumping the whole 20-ounce bottle down my back, on my phone, on my food, everything, and just laughed about it. So I would say that was a pretty safe bet to be Allie.
Same answer from your Lady Tigers over here earlier. On the bus, in pregame, in practice, which Lady Tiger is your DJ is always going to decide what music gets played?
It's Allie again. I mean, last year I came in for pregame, and there was some stuff playing that I had no idea what it was. I hadn't heard beats like that before, and actually I didn't know if they were even speaking English. But we talked about that afterwards, about her choice of music. But she's probably the one that picks the music and the DJ. I think Sid will pick some music sometimes too, and even Coach Wietrick picks some music for us. They don't like mine as well. I'm playing a lot of 80s rock and stuff through practice as we're going when we're trying to emulate crowd noise and whatnot. But those are probably the more hip DJs, I would say.
I may have asked you this in the past, but I'll ask it again because we've asked several teams over the past week and a half. As a player first, and then as a coach, a superstition or habit that you have before you can take the floor, either way, player or coach?
Well, it's not really before I take the floor, but I was told by a parent just this weekend that I'm not going to name the parent, but there's a superstition with he has to use bar soap now because when he was using body gels, we weren't playing as well. Now bar soap is working. I had to confess that I have a superstition now that I have 2 body gels that I mix together only on game days for that special get ready to play. I've got favorite polos, I've got favorite, so I've got a few more superstitions than I like to admit, and I think everybody kind of likes to do their own thing, but I would say those are the main ones.
And I also asked the Lady Tigers up here earlier, Addy, Syd, and Hannah, will there be a stop at a park on the way to ball games this year, you think?
We are going to be as similar as we were last year, from the walkthrough before the send-off to the Garfield send-off to the parents send-off to the time we eat to where we stop in Council Grove and then when we get to White Auditorium. So it will all seem like it's happened before, and that's kind of the intention for it. We're going to take any chance of having nerves out of the equation and go play basketball.
Can't wait to get it going again in Emporia. They tip off on Thursday. Coach, as always, we appreciate the time. Let's go get them.
Thanks, Rocky.
The Twin Valley Locker Room Show takes you inside Lady Tiger basketball.